What's happening, Saints fans? Hope y'all are having a wonderful Friday. In today's show, we're going to discuss a major trade rumor because I think the Saints have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and bring Trey Hendrickson back. He should have never left New Orleans, to be honest. So we're going to discuss bringing him back as he has been given permission to seek a trade. And then Evan Engram, he has been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Free agency is right around the corner. So, of course, we're going to dive into the latest free agency rumors. And the Saints have a need at tight end. Thank you guys for tuning into today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Quick reminder to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 43K, so we're going to start chipping away every single video. Big lofty goal on this one. 42,250 subscribers. So we need 155 new members of our Golden Gang. If you're a real one, hit the sub button for free Saints videos. So Trey Hendrickson trade rumors have taken over the NFL rumor mill as the Bengals have given permission to Hendrickson to seek out a trade because he's on the last year of his contract. And if you didn't know, last year he actually requested a trade just before the draft. The Bengals did not honor it. And to be honest, I think this is one the Saints have to explore considering the price tag. He's due just $16 million non-guaranteed on his contract. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to Trey Hendrickson, he's a player who never should have left New Orleans. The Saints made a horrible, stupid, awful, no good decision by letting him walk and not paying him. And, you know, I'll tell you this, if you do trade for Trey Hendrickson, you might actually have the opportunity to lock him up for the long haul. And if you do trade for Trey Hendrickson, he's likely going to want an extension on the team that he gets traded to because he's going to want that money not just for this year but for next year and the year after and after and after and after that because, you know, at a certain point you start losing, you stop getting those new contracts. But, you know, if I'm the New Orleans Saints, I have the chance to right my wrongs. And Mickey Loomis, you better listen up. You can go ahead and trade for Trey Hendrickson and then extend him to make his 2025 cap hit lower. So that way you can afford to make other moves, make smart decisions. This is a smart decision, not just financially, but because of the quality of player that Trey Hendrickson is. And Adam Schefter, adding context, this is the report. The Bengals have taken the rare step of granting All-Pro Trey Hendrickson permission to seek a trade. It's honestly wild. They're calling him the odd man out between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and I understand that that's kind of hard to balance all three of those high-profile players, but to think the sack leader in the entire NFL and the guy who led the league in pressures is the odd man out is just absolutely ridiculous. But I will say this, just like last year when Trey Hendrickson requested a trade, they don't have to trade him. They do not have to get rid of him. He's under contract. It's not like he went and requested a trade. He was given permission. That's at least what the reports are suggesting. And I will at least say this, the Bengals might opt to be like, you know what, we'll find a way to extend it, we'll do a contract, we'll figure it out, but, you know, this is just letting you test the market, see if you can go make money elsewhere, see if we can get compensation in return rather than just letting you walk next year or trying to, you know, figure out the financials. I mean, the type of player that you would get in Trey Hendrickson is absolutely dangerous. 17.5 sacks this past season. Like I mentioned, he led the league in sacks, he led the league in pressures. He was very, very good at putting at creating sack production. And with the New Orleans Saints, they're a team that had a lot of pressures, but not a lot of sacks. And I want to see pressures turn to production. You got to get the quarterback's ass on the ground. Now, the trade rumors are from Jonathan Jones, an NFL insider at CBS. The Bengals are seeking a late second or early third round pick. And I'm going to be honest, I'm foaming at the mouth just thinking about this. The Saints have 2 third-round picks. Send one of those picks to Cincinnati. And then on top of that, give them a second-round pick as well. Or give them both third-round picks. I really don't care. I'm at the point where I'm like, honestly, not a lot is off the table in terms of trading for Trey Hendrickson. He is an elite pass rusher. He is exactly what the Saints are missing. The pass rush unit for the New Orleans Saints was tied for 18th in sacks across the league last year. That is not good. You do not win divisions with that type of production. You do not win Super Bowls with that type of production. You do not win playoff games with that type of production. So the Saints need to get a player who can create sack production, who can create just havoc across the defensive line because, quite frankly, the fact that one of your top 5 sack artists last year was a cornerback and the guy who led the team in sacks last year was a defensive tackle, that says something. That says to me that the edge rusher position, the defensive end position, hasn't been productive enough. So go and get Carl Graderson some help. Go and get Cam Jordan some help. F it, dude. Bring in Chase Young, too. I don't really give a damn. I'm going to be talking about how important this pass rush is because the Saints need to add to it. If I'm the New Orleans Saints, I trade for Trey Hendrickson, and then I also draft one in the 2025 draft. That's what I would do if I'm Mickey Loomis. Now, Jordan Schultz, he did report that the Falcons and the Commanders have been monitoring the Trey Hendrickson situation. I'll tell you right now. If Hendrickson goes to Atlanta, Colin, I'm going to be honest, I would be pissed the F off. Yeah, that would, oh my God. You would have to tune in because that crash out would absolutely be electric. Would you bring back Trey Hendrickson to New Orleans? This feels like a very obvious answer. But I can also understand why some of y'all might be like, no, let's get younger, let's get cheaper. But I think you can still get Trey Hendrickson at a reasonable cost and then get him for a few years and, make that cost not outrageously expensive that would be outrageously expensive, but at least lower the cap hit for 2025. I'm trading for him. I would 100% do it. If you wouldn't trade for it, let me know why in the comment section. So around the corner, we're going to discuss the Jaguars cutting Evan Engram and whether or not the New Orleans Saints should make a call because they do have a need at the tight end possession. We're going to look at the tight end depth chart, the current state of the offense, and a little bit more here in a moment. But really quick, if you haven't already, I told you to subscribe to help us reach our next milestone. That being said, we are also going live next week during free agency. The tampering period begins Monday. Wednesday is when things officially kick off. So we will be going live throughout the week if anything happens. And on top of that, we're going to be giving you videos every single day, updating you on who the Saints can go and sign, who are they talking to, who's rumored to be interested in joining the New Orleans Saints. So I cannot emphasize enough. There's a lot of great coverage coming next week. You don't want to miss out. So subscribe today. Now let's talk Evan Engram. I am going to go ahead and tell you this. It kind of makes me nervous. I don't love the idea of going and getting Evan Engram, but he is a player that is available, and he does have some quality veteran experience. And, he's only one season removed from almost having a 1,000-yard season. It's not like he's been unproductive, almost 8 yards per catch, 1 touchdown, 4 drops. That part is not necessarily great. So, I will kind of take that back. It's not like he hasn't been unproductive. It's not like he's been amazing. It's not like he's been terrible. But the Saints do have a need at tight end. And right now, if I'm the black and gold and if I'm, running things, I look at the current state of the tight end room and I understand that you need a tight end one. I think Foster Moreau, I'm not trying to take away anything from what he can do and what his abilities are. I think he's a very, very good tight end too. I think he's an excellent option that's a really good all-around tight end. Taysom Hill, we know that he's just a unicorn. He's a Swiss Army knife, but he's not a true tight end. Dallin Holker, second-year player. I'm excited about him, but I want to see him get more opportunities and get more reps and, to be honest, develop a little bit more because, you got to – it's very unlikely to see a rookie tight end or a young tight end just do what Brock Bowers just did. I want to see Dallin Holker get those opportunities and see what he can do, but – you also need to address the tight end one position. Maybe that's Holker. Maybe it's somebody in free agency. But I can tell you right now, if you do go and address this in free agency, you might as well just bring back Juwan Johnson because he is the top free agent available at the tight end position this offseason. So, if it comes down to whether or not I would go Juwan Johnson or Evan Engram, we can look at the production of both of these players, and it's pretty obvious. It's not a very hard decision to make. One of them is 28 years old. One of them is 30. One of them has better production. One of them doesn't. It's not a hard decision to make. I would be honest. I'd bring back Juwan Johnson. If it's between Evan Engram or Juwan Johnson, if I had to make a decision, I'm going JJ. But, you don't have to just stick with that option. You can also go and explore a trade, maybe a Michael Mayer. He's a player that, unfortunately hasn't had a lot of run, hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but he might be available via a trade. There are trade rumors around Michael Mayer. I'd be willing to offer up you don't have a 5th-round pick. I would love to give him a 5th, but, a late 4th or one of the late 4th-round pick or a 6th-round pick maybe. I think that he could be a solid option. Change the scenery might be okay. He was a very productive, very good tight end at Notre Dame. It just He's kind of taken a backseat to Brock Bowers, who's been absolutely incredible. And on top of that, just hasn't been a great situation in Las Vegas. Change of scenery could work. I'm not going to seem to say this is the best option. It is an option, but it's not the best option. I think this is the best option. Exploring the tight end room in the draft. So Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin, Colston Loveland, Gunnar Hill, Mason Taylor are 5 names to keep an eye on. I really like the idea of going Tyler Warren in round 1. I think he would be an excellent weapon to add to the Saints offense. And quite frankly, he is, a really big body alpha presence that, this offense is missing. I also like the idea of Mason Taylor later on, or Harold Fannin, or, Colston Loveland, Gunnar Hill. All of these are great options. And there's also a lot more available in the draft that aren't on this graphic. But, I love the idea of Tyler Warren in round 1. So for this question, I'm going to have to go with, I think I'm going to go with, drafting one. And I'm going to say my option is Tyler Warren in round 1. I'm kind of changing my mind. I love the idea of going to get Ashton Jeanty, but it feels like that's just such a smart pick for the Saints, and it feels like that just makes so much sense for New Orleans and for Kellen Moore's offense. I'm going to say Tyler Warren here, but would you go Evan Engram? Would you go Juwan Johnson? Or would you go with a player in the draft? If you do want to go with a player in the draft, name who it would be. I do think the best option is drafting a tight end. I said it a minute ago. I just believe that Juwan Johnson, it might be just better off going elsewhere. I'm a fan of Juwan Johnson for what it's worth. And I think that, he's been rather productive when he's been given opportunities and when he's been on the field. But this past year just wasn't really all that great. At one point in time, over half of his catches were either a touchdown or a first down. So they were extending or completing a drive, but it just hasn't been the same. And, to be totally honest, it just might make sense to let him walk and spend money elsewhere. So, if you guys want to get more thoughts from me, if you guys want to get more content around the New Orleans Saints, I post on social media a lot. So hit your boy up on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also hit me up on Instagram. The links will be available in the comment section description of this video. And don't forget, I also post on TikTok as well. Hit your boy up, Trizzy Trace. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.